Welcome to this clinical walkthrough on a suspected autism spectrum disorder case for UK-MLA, brought to you by Meditate, your 24/7 practice partner.
All right, let's jump right in. Now, a station like this in your PLAB 2 exam, it can feel pretty complex, right? That's why having a solid structure is an absolute game changer. We're going to break this consultation down into 6 key stages. Kicking things off, digging into the main worries, building out the full history, talking about the diagnosis, making a plan, and then, of course, safety netting and follow-up.
Okay, first things first, that opening. It's so important. This is where you set the entire tone for the consultation, and it's your first real chance to build that trust with parents who are probably feeling pretty anxious.
Just look at how simple but powerful this opening is. You start warm, you're professional, you confirm who everyone is, and let me tell you, that's a huge safety check, not just a box to tick. Then you hit them with that beautiful, open-ended question. How can I help you both today? This just opens the door for them to tell their story in their own words. It shows you're there to listen right from the get-go.
So, once you've let the parents share what's on their mind, it's time for you to gently take the reins and shift into a really structured, focused history. This is where you get to show off your clinical thinking, zeroing in on what really matters.
When we're thinking about suspected ASD, everything really revolves around these 4 key areas. The examiner is going to be watching to see if you can methodically go through each one. Think of it like a checklist and make sure you don't miss any of those classic features.
And these are the kinds of questions you need to be asking. See, it's not enough to just say, so, how's their social interaction? No, you've got to dig deeper. Asking something super specific like, does he point to things to show you? That's a fantastic way to check for shared attention. Or, is she quite strict with her routines? Boom, you're exploring repetitive behaviors. These kinds of targeted questions are how you get that rich, detailed history you absolutely need.
Okay, so you've dug deep into their main concerns. Now it's time to pull back a bit, to zoom out. A really good doctor always thinks about what else could be going on. This part is all about building that complete picture, and crucially, ruling out other important possibilities.
Think of these questions as your clinical safety net. You're actively hunting for red flags for other conditions. Could it be a post-infectious neurological thing? What about absence seizures? They can look a lot like a child is just daydreaming. Or maybe severe ADHD, which has a ton of overlapping features. You have to show the examiner you're thinking this broadly.
And for any pediatric case, you need a system. The BIRD mnemonic is honestly such a lifesaver for this. It's simple. B for birth history, I for immunizations, R for the Red Book, their growth charts, and D for developmental milestones. It's a quick and easy way to make sure you've covered all those essential background details.
And then to wrap up your history taking, just run through a quick systems review. You can use a framework like PMFTOSA, past medical history, meds, allergies, and so on. And please don't forget the social stuff, asking about nursery or how they get on with their siblings. That gives you such valuable clues about their world.
Okay, let's take a quick pause here. Before we get into diagnosis and management, I just want to remind you, you can practice this exact case right now, get objective feedback on mymediate.com.
All right, this next part, it's probably the most delicate bit of the whole consultation. You've got all this information, and now you have to package it up and deliver it back to the parents. And you have to do it with real empathy and total clarity. Before you even think about mentioning a diagnosis, you absolutely have to use the ICE framework. Ask about their ideas, their concerns, and their expectations. Seriously, this is non-negotiable in the exam. It shows you're putting the parents at the center of the conversation, you're finding out what they're actually worried about, what they're hoping for, so your explanation will actually land. Now, when you do share what you're thinking, listen to how careful this language is. You're using phrases like features suggestive of, and then you immediately follow up by saying a formal assessment is needed. This is key. You're giving a provisional diagnosis. Your job in this GP setting isn't to slap on a label, it's to spot the signs and get the ball rolling for a specialist.
How you explain what ASD is, it matters so much. Keep it simple, no jargon. And that second sentence you see there, it is not caused by parenting. Wow, you have to say that. You have to actively take that burden of guilt off their shoulders. The conversation immediately shifts from blame to support to helping their child thrive.
So, what's next? The management plan, of course. Just giving a potential diagnosis without a clear plan is, well, it's not helpful at all, is it? This part is all about giving the parents concrete, actionable steps to take.
And this is what a great plan looks like. It's got multiple parts. Number 1, the specialist referral. That's our main goal. Then, a hearing check. You always have to rule out hearing loss as a cause for communication issues. And then you give them support right now, today, with official NHS leaflets and by pointing them towards community resources like parent groups. You're basically building a support network around them from day 1. We're in the home stretch now. Before you wrap up, you've got 2 last crucial jobs. Provide a really clear safety net and outline what happens next. Oh, and tackle some common myths. This shows you're thorough and that you're thinking about their care long after they leave the room. This one is so important. Don't be passive about it. Don't wait for the parent to bring up the MMR vaccine. You bring it up. Address this myth head-on. You need to say, with confidence, that the idea it causes autism has been completely disproven, and the original study was actually fraudulent. Being direct like this builds so much trust and fights dangerous misinformation.
Your safety netting has to be crystal clear. No vague advice. Give them specific red flags that mean call us immediately or go to A&E. Things like self-harm or meltdowns that put the child at risk. And so importantly, include the parent's well-being in that advice. Letting them know it's okay to call if they feel overwhelmed is huge. And finishing with, you are not alone, that's just a really powerful human thing to say.
And finally, don't let them leave wondering what happens next. End the uncertainty. Lay out a clear timeline. Today, I am making the referral. In a few weeks, we can have a check-in call. We'll have another appointment after you've seen the specialist. This is pure professionalism. It shows them they're in a system of care, not just being sent away.
So there you have it, a complete, step-by-step framework for handling a suspected ASD consultation. Now, knowing the steps is one thing, right? But actually doing it smoothly when the clock is ticking and the pressure is on, that's a whole different ballgame. And the only way to get good at that is to practice. You can practice this exact case now on mymediate.com.